call Austin, put some slaps.
This is Flash ABC, also a member of the Classic Cruisers out of Humboldt Park. You are watching the Windy 101. Please subscribe as we build a new network for Chicago, by Chicago.
Yo, what's good? You are now in tune with the motherfucking Windy 101. Make some noise for yourself.
Hold up.
Yo, that's the homie in Mexico.
What's up?
My name's Al Tamper.
It's Tamper.
We brought the mayor of Chicago Graffiti.
He's here today. The one and only Flash ABC.
Yeah.
Woo! How's it going?
Brother, welcome to the show.
I'm grateful to be on here.
Thank you.
That's you and me.
Yo, man, so how you been?
Doing good. Running the wall this year.
Word up, word up.
Doing what we gotta do.
We'll get to that. Let's get into some history. Start from the way backs.
Very, very beginning. From the coño to the you know what's up
To the
Well, the first thing I remember was the fire in Humboldt Park.
Man, not that way back. Oh, bring it a little further up.
damn.
No, but just so you know, I was in Humboldt Park. Was born in Humboldt Park. Burned out during the riots of the '60s, and went to Logan Square. Got to Logan Square, went to a very diverse neighborhood compared to Humboldt Park. It's a very mixed neighborhood. So across the street lived B-Boy B. On the other block was a guy named Pilot, and then on the other block was DJ Nonstop.
Oh, snap.
And that day was known as Gizmo.
Gizmo.
Gizmo ABC.
That's a DJ name.
So that's the DJ name. So
Favorite movies.
so we're all from the neighborhood in Logan Square.
Something about chicken at midnight.
Schubert and Whipple, Schubert and Albany, Schubert and Kedzie.
How many parts? No.
No, Logan Square.
Logan Square. Logan
And
Square.
then we started hanging out at the Eagle as kids, and from there we started to. We were always sketching there. In those days it was Kiss.
Mhm.
Everybody's doing Kiss.
Everyone's on a kiss.
Kiss and or rock bands or metal albums. And I kind of remember the metal albums because of
With the buckle font.
yeah. But what happened was between seventh to eighth grade, all the kids that were bad in our school, they either got sent to Montefiore, Puerto Rico, or New York.
So basically, you were in Puerto Rico.
Yeah, I was in Puerto Rico. My friend Angelo, people, rest in peace, he went to Montefiore. Seen ABC, he's probably one of the first ones. He's in New York in '76, and then comes back in '79. And then B-Boy B goes over there and comes back, and he's really the first one that tells us that we gotta stop the gangbanging.
Was he wearing just goggles?
Yeah.
He was just wearing goggles?
In those days, he had that big '80s flock of seagulls look with the hair coming down to the front. Yeah. So, and straight legs. We never went to bell bottoms. We went straight to
Just went to straights?
legs.
There you go. Straights
Yeah.
and kids.
But he would tell us there's nothing in the gangbanging that the kids in New York are doing hip hop, and that it has 4 elements. And that's kind of like pretty weird for us because we were, 12, 13-year-olds, and we were being told to stop hanging around with our friends.
Mm-hmm.
What year was
Our
that?
friends was into gangbanging. I say 83. 79, everybody comes back in 1980. So 81, 82, that summer when we graduate, that's when I get my first camera, and we're walking around the neighborhood doing pieces. Some of the pieces, our first pieces are done for people that got shot, the gangbangers. And we had a friend named Lemonhead Louie.
Oh, shout out Lemonhead.
Shout out to Lemonhead, if he knows. And he would pay us to do these pieces. And one is on Diversey and Emmett, Schubert and Spalding. They're all local in the neighborhood, in the vicinity around the Eagle. So what happens to us is that CTA crew comes over and paints on the back of the Mega Mall. And when they paint on the back of the Mega Mall, they go over gang graffiti. A couple of of days later, sure enough, the like stylers come up to us, the OAs. Hey, we're like, no, they're from Humboldt Park. That's another graffiti crew. It's not us. It's graffiti. It's you guys. It's our neighborhood. You ain't doing shit no more.
They just lumped you in.
Yeah, it was just lumped in. So, sure enough, a couple of days later, this guy Joey gets killed. Gets blown away by a shotgun. And we wanna go ahead. Louis comes again and it says we gotta do a piece. Now we tell him your gang and every gang says we can't. So B-Boy B looks and he says, you know, they didn't say we can't go on top of the Mega Mall. So we go up on top of the Mega Mall and we piece. And after that, us doing that as a crew, it's like our eyes opened up. We never went back to piecing in our neighborhood.
Was the Forest Park there yet?
Forest Park was there. We started going on every rooftop up the line.
Right.
From our neighborhood everywhere. It's like an adventure. It's like an adventure. We hit the Mega Mall. We gotta go up. Next is the Hollander. Next is Western. Next is Damon. Oh look, Damon.
Like levels in a video game.
Damon here runs out.
Yeah.
What do? Run tunnels. We start running tunnels. We start seeing. Next thing you know,
popped up on the other side.
if you actually look on the artisticbombingcrew.com site, that's still there in our archives. We get to the point that we hit the yards, 2 yards in one night. So we're vandalizing trains, and that's kind of, you know, my always favorite article. You won't see pieces of us because we all went out and we vandalized it. We were destroying the train, tagging. The piecing doesn't come until '85, you know, and we actually see the documentary, and then we go out and below zero, January 5, 1986. And we go into the Rosemont yard and froze our asses off, and the crew put up high and by. And that's train did ride because we got to the Logan Square train station and it caught up to us. We were like, whoa, look, it rolled. So very proud of that.
Dope.
We piece so much that sure enough, the Logan Square Neighborhood Association comes to us, and we do those walls that you see in the books, the Trickster Wall, the Chicago piece, the Windy City, and the Logan Square. And we went through so much politics just to get, as 15-year-olds and 16, we went through so much politics just to get those pieces up that I think afterwards everybody took the pain from my pocket.
I did hear some stories where like, oh yeah,
you know what, we're just gonna go.
We're gonna dust it, make it look dope, like fire enough for them to be happy, and then shit.
I will say this.
I'm going that way now.
The reason why the Chicago piece is red is because we ran out of the sky blue and the fire department came and dropped off a case of red to Trickster.
Perfect.
And that's why the Chicago piece has the red background.
Makes sense.
Yeah, so, you know, I'm there. I can't say
Makes sense now.
I can't say that we were the first one, but we're there at the beginning when all this starts. And it's like everybody was enjoying it. I remember CTA workers telling us, "Good night, graffiti artists."
That's great.
Getting off the train and
walking off the train.
I mean, we smelled like spray paint and dust. You know,
it's good cologne.
If you know the tunnel running, you go into the tunnel. Once you hit those walls with anything, all that
all the dust comes
back on you. So
like you just knocked off a ghost.
Yeah, exactly. So you come out looking like Mojo Dixon. You know, no, mom, I wasn't in the nowhere dirty.
Bro, did somebody buff you? You're brown.
So that's what I consider my era. And by 1987, I do get arrested. I got to see the whole city.
Yeah.
As a kid, and in those days, you didn't go out in your neighborhood because of the gang lines.
Right.
But getting on the train, going up, and then seeing the city from above at that stage, and you know, one writer that I met back in the day, Roski, BTB. You know, I met him, and he's on the south side. And next thing you know, we're all communicating. How did we do it without the internet? To go back and meet up, bring other people to paint with them. It's
called showing and proving.
It's our communication at its best.
Yeah,
And
man.
what people don't understand is those train lines represent mass transit and allows me to go to one side of the city, which has made other people to this day not even go to the other side of the city.
Right. I mean, there's still people who think that once you hit Roosevelt, you're in Evanston. So.
There's some people that think once you hit Chicago, you're on the south side.
Right. True story.
Yeah, that's true. But a lot of cities don't have that train system. Like we, and New York, and probably LA. We have a train line, or several train lines.
Chicago is the last underground because of the train lines, and because if you go to New York, they got 79 books on Chicago graffiti and everything. We're still that untapped well. You know, we're on the lines. People see our art. We're on there, but in a sense, because I have tried, we are so underground still that I still believe we're still raw. I mean, the buff has held us back for 20 years that other cities have developed. So that when people see us doing art now, you see it, they freak out.
Yeah.
And we're still trying to decriminalize the can of spray paint.
So with being in the game so long, what have you seen from when you started to, you know what I'm saying, like what was the evolution, like from your point of view, like how did you see it grow?
When do you see graffiti hitting puberty? I'm just kidding.
Yeah. Graffiti has grown leaps and bounds because if you take me and what happened to me, I stopped in 1987 and I never looked at graffiti again. I went to college. I had a kid in 1990. Went to night school.
How dare you?
Yeah, exactly. So it was hard because I even one of the comments that I got, Trickster, was, "Wow, when you left, it was that's Trickster." You know, well, I see as the godfather of graffiti.
You gotta find that guy.
Yeah,
We're gonna find him.
He said when I left, he was shocked that I would leave, and I left a void. And the crew and everything, we do dissipate apart because we grow up. And so with the invention of the internet, and, you know, I call myself an internet child. It was in 2003. I created an email called Flash624 at Yahoo, and I get an email from DJ Third Rail. And I don't know who he is, and he's like, "Your email represents a graffiti artist, or are you a graffiti artist from back in the day in '80?" And I was like,
I ran up and arrested him.
I was like, "What?" Yeah, I didn't know. And so next thing you know, we did a radio show. From the radio show, we saw people communicating, and if you know, we created the ABC forums. We had the ABC site first.
I was on that shit.
And
That's like you say you're wild.
and if you don't know, Artistic Bombing Crew got so inundated with traffic, they would shut down. It would literally, because there was a little forum where people would talk. So then, take two, ended up creating the forums. And that's what it went. And one of the things that I want to give credit to Take Two in the beginning is that on that forum, he put a bad word filter. And if you would say lesbian, it would say Rosie O'Donnell.
Yeah.
And everything. And that allowed it to go into the school.
It was so hilarious. So if you knew the forum, you're like, what?
Yeah, so
Rosie O'Donnell.
Rosie O'Donnell.
I can't. Oh my God.
You remember?
I remember those.
Now you're remembering. So all these graffiti artists just go in there and they start trying to swear and everything.
They're all, you motherfuckers gonna come back and get your shit fixed.
All you bunch of boy Georges.
And to this day, I still run into people who say, "Man, I was in grammar school following your this is second generation to me now. This is, you know, so yeah, the forums to me people have grew up on that don't understand it. That's when we organized ourselves too. That's when it came down to say, hey, if I'm not in a crew, I can just paint with this guy. I don't have to be in the same crew to paint with anybody. Graffiti, and people actually did teach us other than create these productions where it wasn't just about crews anymore. And that's what I believe the internet and the forums was good for.
And it was. Like, I remember coming up, and when I first started, and that's how I realized that it was just a lot bigger than what I thought. And it was like, oh, you got EDSK had their own page. You had AOM had their own page. You had ABC and FIK and FTR and UAC, and there was a whole bunch of other shit. I was just like, it just opened my eyes to like, this shit is way bigger than I thought.
And it got way bigger because this is why we do these shows, to say what happened. What happened?
Message.
We had the police come on there and start taking pictures and then interrogating artists at 26 in California, taking them into separate cells and saying, well, if you're in this crew, that means you did this. And one day I just hit the delete button on the crew page, and that's when it died. And I took the responsibility because I found out what was going on, and I got a lot of hate from it because we were deleting the history of, but in a sense, I felt that I was saving even a young kid that was putting up a crew, and then he's got to be responsible for all these pieces that are on the page, and these cops are using this stuff. So it was my thing, and then after that, the forums died. MySpace came. I started listening to Tamper. Oh, crazy.
This guy.
Hit him with the sound effects.
MySpace. Yeah. He was up there with his crazy ass stuff we were listening to.
Aww.
See, you know he forgot too.
Dude, I still treat every day like it's the first.
See?
Pretty music.
It's pretty. Tampertron.com. Dude, you're like unlocking like different times of my life. It's kind of cool because like I think your timelines are great, but fortunately we have had people who remember a lot of things, considering what us in Chicago go through, just to get up and say, hey, look at our cool shit. With that said,
He said it.
I said it. When am I gonna be able to be the fucking mayor of Chicago Graffiti, man? Who do I gotta roast? You can be quick about it. We don't need to give the details.
For those people that know, that name wasn't given. It was given to me.
It was given to you, I know.
Okay.
But that means now that you have it,
Right.
I can.
Are you ready?
I mean, I'm never ready. Who's ever ready? Were you ready?
No, I wasn't ready. Because I was running around trying to give people water
This is true.
at the 606.
This is true with the strike.
And my wife just goes, look at the mayor. And that's how I got the name.
That's how you got it.
That's how I got the name.
See, I guess I threw my wife away.
So, I think you're ready. I think you're just about there. I gotta see some.
So everybody, go out there, go to the comment section and vote for the new mayor.
I think that there is a new mayor that needs to be done. I'm ready to hang it up.
Can I look through your files first? I'm just kidding. What else you got, Mexico?
Let's see. When I hear Logan Square, I automatically think Flash. Man, how did you get Logan Square? How did you come across this beautiful
oasis of art that we can go and spray away and let our day go away more like cows on the head?
Exactly. That's what I was thinking. So the question I always wanted to ask you was, how did you get the Logan wall?
Everybody asks me, so.
You got your script ready?
Yeah, that's
Scroll
right.
through there.
Hold on. I wouldn't have gotten that wall right away when I came back, because when I came back in 2003,
As I come back.
I painted everywhere. I painted on the south side. I painted in Evanston. You know, I got to see the city that I lost contact with. I was able to go to the south side. I had never gone to the south side since the graffiti days. So it was like from '87, it was like a shutdown. So starting to go to the south side, I started seeing all these walls and everything. And then I come back to Logan Square and I said, man, the neighborhood that started graffiti doesn't have a graffiti wall. I mean, we had some, but we didn't have anything. And I was always trying to push it with the community leaders and everything. And I would get these, it's not we're about the quality of art here.
You got something to show me first? It's gotta be like the Mona Lisa.
Yeah, and
You look at the Mona Lisa.
and
What about Cher?
And
No.
everything was off the walls. I started to notice. If you actually look at the fireman's wall on Milwaukee and Kimball, that mural started on the wall when they first put it. And there was a banishing of murals in Logan Square to the point that they even moved that one off the wall. Murals were done with it in Logan Square. And so what happened was all those abandoned storefronts on Milwaukee Avenue, the artists from Tracy from 90 Square started to organize themselves and do this event called the Milwaukee Avenue Arts Festival. And they would give us a store, of course. And the first one we did a hip hop store at a graffiti battle that we got kicked out.
That day, enough.
The first day we got kicked out. If you go look, the pages, Logan Square 2010 graffiti battle on Facebook if you want to see it.
Look it up.
Look it up. But they still kept inviting us back, and I really respected the fact that some of the people in this group understood the art of it. And sure enough, I saw Tracy then a couple of years, the next year, doing the side of the train that we don't paint on Project Logan. And if everybody knows, there's a side that doesn't get paint that it's Annie Square's wall, and we do it with kids every 5 years. So we've been working with them for 8. We've done the wall twice when we do an outline. So I told her, well, what about the other sides? She's like, oh, that's a lot of work. It is a lot of work. And
For you.
And then I said, I got a community. And that's what I told her. I have a community, and I don't have to be there. And as it starts to grow, you're going to see that we're going to get artists from around the city.
You're like, what side is that? You're like the north.
I never thought it. 9 years later, there's 7 panels rotated monthly and bi-weekly. And we've been doing it for 9 years with Annie Square, where every time we do a project, we've picked up a scaffold, we've picked up a generator, and what we're doing now is making it what we're supposed to do. We do those murals quick and we're gone. We've been doing them there now, and we do it with the community that wants to paint. And I don't go out looking for people no more, because then they say I'm trying to hold their job. But I do have a calendar schedule, and it's first come, first served. I let the crews run the main sections, and then I let the small sections for us artists that want to paint something simple or want to work with somebody that comes in from out of town. Out of town, I've had Singapore, Brazil, and everybody from around the country wanting to paint. And if they understand that it goes up and comes down, we get to keep painting.
That's just awesome. If they
And I can't get Mexico and Fade off the damn wall now.
Yo, it is straight Mexico and Fade fucking central.
That ain't my fault, right? I need to fucking hit him off.
I can't get him off the wall. Oh my God.
But thanks to Mexico,
He's not, they know how to, what do you call it? And then they flip it where one message would be like, let me get it this one flag. All right. And then the other one, okay, you got flags, you agree. Now I'm going to message him. Okay, and then we're both going to be on that motherfucker. I know what's going on.
and then because Mexico's there, he posted online, I'm like, how long are you going to be there? Write my name on the spot, and I show up.
See,
You know what? Just hit me up. You want to pay Logan Square? Hit me up. Shit, Ponyo and got you, man.
We'll get you started. You got to buff your own shit.
Yeah.
But other than that, man, just keep down.
And I wouldn't have it any other way. I wouldn't have it.
Nah, it's good, man. It's very
But
good.
seriously, if you do want to paint Logan Square, tell them where
Not this year, because the ball's already booked. We got
It's
section.
already booked, son.
But so people know, May 4th, the run up, because of Groovy.
Because of Groovy.
Because of Groovy.
We're calling it
shout out to
run up
Ruby,
'cause of Groovy.
IWA.
I'm there, and she's there, and she's flash, let me paint. And I stuck my hand out, and she made it groovy for me. Alright. Next, after that is Mother's Day. Look for Orchid on that one. After that, we're doing the battle racers again this year. There will be a registry online again. This year it's gonna be shorter, couple of rounds.
Yeah, it was a damn saga last year.
Yeah, well that was Battle for the City.
I was in that and I didn't.
But
I was
the
at
winner
work.
of Battle for the Racers goes to Battle for the City. And doesn't have to go through all the rounds in Battle for the City. So there's a couple of battles going up that people should be paying attention to. And then after that, what was that? The battle. Father's Day. Oh, we gotta give all the people.
Shout out to people.
Shout out to people. We don't know why.
Yes, people.
He's always there at the wall. If you got anybody that can draw somebody with a 40, look me up.
Like this.
Like, I got an idea. Then after that,
You know I'm right, right?
it is against the fence. Where we have artists that paint on the wall, also put their canvas on the wall, and people come and buy their art. Much love, and that's what we're about. I'd like to thank these guys. These guys have been the ones that support me all the time.
We're not done. We're not done. This is
Yo,
just,
para casa ya.
nah, fuck that shit. Nah. We're still hanging out here.
I got to go to sleep, man. I'm 51, bro. Look at tengo que no at my bedtime.
That's only because it's like 6 minutes past. He's got it timed with Jeopardy and shit. So, why don't you tell us about your style, man? Tu stilo.
My stilo is old school.
Old school?
Yeah, I can't paint the way some of these young kids paint. So,
These kids these days with their
oh
fancy
my
paints.
God.
Yes,
drogas.
your spray paint smells like
I'm
cotton
old
candy.
school, and I like to do art. I do refrigerator magnets out of spray paint cans. I do.
That's a big ass magnet. That's dope.
Yeah, I do those for people.
That's holding up bills.
My exactly, and I got a stack of them. But my art looks like old school. What an old school graffiti artist should look like. Sometimes it's basic, but I try and I've been taught by some of these old guys to have some balance and flow in my pieces. So I do like to have that. Any sketch that people have given me, I've tried to throw them up on the wall. So I'm waiting for Mexico to come up with a flash already.
It's coming this summer. You guys stay tuned.
And you'll see me throw it up. But I like to throw up on the wall where people have given me the sketches. It's always fun and a challenge. I've done what I'm going to do as far as the earning aspect of it, but I like to be able to still put up something different all the time. I like to change up the art. It shouldn't always look the same.
Oh, you
Right.
said it. Ooh, ooh.
And saying that,
Ooh, we're gonna take
who are
a
your
tally.
favorite? Who do you like? From old to new, from now, all back then, all around, all that shit.
I love Trickster. Trickster is it teaches you about letters. And he's so humble that he'll take you and say, no, you gotta do it. He'll walk you through. So Trickster's my all-time favorite artist, and Pango. Pango
That's two for
is
Pango.
such a student. Still to this age, he's still studying the game.
Yeah.
And that goes to show us that you never stop learning.
Yo, big up to Pango for hopping on IG and just blessing the whole network of everyone on IG for
Facts.
about a month straight, just dumping flicks on there, and nothing was the same.
We're
Nothing
gonna
was
put
the
his
same.
Instagram flying over here somewhere.
Yeah, we're
Another one that I like that's on Instagram now that's actually showing his art is Cy Master on Instagram. He's showing all the old stuff that we had, Division Street pictures and stuff like that. That's kind of funny because he saw Pango and he's like, man, can I do that on Instagram? He's now, blowing
that
up
guy.
and showing even the Evanston wall because I used to send him all my files and he had all the files and he's been showing everything. So
That's funny.
this is the stuff I don't show. He shows.
He's like, man, you can see it. I'm letting it out.
Any of the new cats?
God, so
There's a lot of up and coming artists that just are smashing. And they have new style. It's not all the same. They're all.
I don't want to give any names because then it really does go to their heads. But I do like to see the bombing that's going on. It does the expressway bombing that's going on now. That's where you're gonna get your next new artist, because it's really the bombers that when they go into these commission malls that actually shot. I want to say one kid that I've seen up a lot this year is the Mean Kid.
Yeah.
He's been up so much. I'm interested to see him 3 to 4 years from now. Let's see what he does. And that's the way I see graffiti, because I'm remembered for what I did in '87. So all of you guys are like my new kids. It's like my second generation, even though they're all old. We're all.
They're like, don't touch me.
And it's good to see, even when they evolve as into the workplace, and because we're always looked at, and in 2003 we were still looked at as such criminals that even at the permission walls, you remember, cops go up, bust the cans up, knock people around, push them, shove them,
stand there and try to figure out a reason like that time with us,
entice fights with them. And now to see
always provoking
that's gone, and that the artists that struggle through that, like you guys, don't have to deal with that shit no more.
Yo.
It's a big
Dude said, so you guys are drinking beer. You're out here outside. Mine was like, 'cause it's a good day.
Remember, that was like,
those
you
were
weren't
great
supposed to
times.
have a beer. That would have been a fine. That would have been a fine.
But because he was trying to find, so it was hilarious.
Yeah.
I think we had a grill out there and everything. Good times.
Yeah. I seen the grill on the hood of the car.
This is true. So,
With that,
where can we find everything about you?
you find on Instagram, /_ABC. You'll see me posting. As I said, I'm a documentarian, so what you see is me posting the city. I'll post some of my work, but I am a photographer first. I was given the name Flash because I like to take pictures.
Quick, how many cameras have you gone through?
No, I can't answer that question.
Good, that's a good answer.
I can't
Great
answer
answer.
that. But I just
Never
picked up
sit on
a
yourself.
nice Pentax K50. And here's the thing, I still have 35mm. And I have been given all these cameras probably throughout all these years by a family member named Raymond Santiago. He's my cousin, he's my brother-in-law and is a real photographer. So I'm throwing a shout out to my brother-in-law there who's always supported my photography, that a lot of the cameras are mine.
Dope.
Shout out to all the supporters.
Shout out to all the artists that come out and have supported me and painted on the wall
And done stuff.
and
Tell their peoples about it. And
to Renegades of Funk, and we continue to show the history of Chicago.
That's right. So thank you again for being on
The
Windy
101.
101. And I am Mexico, that is Tamper, and we'll see y'all later.
The Flash.
Yo, this is Al Tamper.
I'm Mexico.
Yo, this is Windy 101. Click all these links around with the fucking squares and shit.
Or hit the bell.
And hit the bell, just hit the bell, wherever it is.
See?
Tell your moms, it might be cool for you.
He said.
Killing your feelings with skillings, drilling the millions. Idiots really missing it, son and them and they minions. These silly kiddies plead the fittest with that lip they flapping. Trust we checking shits because Telly said slap the shit out of them. Up in your crib like it's been Oz, I put my feet up. Right after your party where your crew just watch you get stuck up. That shit was only practice, we still call that up and coming. All we do is show up, motherfucker.